Grüß, willkommen in einem Aufregens video. Welcome to another exciting video, in this case episode 5 of my equipment series of videos. This video will be covering French World War II artillery. What I'll be attempting to do in this video is to provide an overview of the artillery used by the French in World War II, specifically 1940. The Canon d'Infanterie del 37 Model 1916 TRP, that is the 37mm Model 1916, was a French infantry support gun, first used during World War I. The tactical purpose of the gun in World War I was the destruction of machine gun nests. The French army still had the cannon in service in 1940 as a substitute for the 25mm Hotchkiss anti-tank gun, which was still in extreme short supplies. The Canon D65M Model 1906, where M stands for montagnage or mountain, or briefly 65mm Model 1906, where the model stands for model, was a French mountain gun which entered service with the Regiments d'Artillerie de Mountain in 1906 and was one of the first soft recoil guns in service. It was still in service with the French Army in 1939 to 40. By 1939, the weapon was generally used as an infantry support gun. The Germans did use it as a mountain gun, so I suspect the French still deployed the weapon with their mountain divisions. The Canon D75M, M stands for mountain, Model 1928, or alternatively 75mm Model 28, was a French mountain gun based on the 75mm M87. The Model 1928 fired the same ammunition as the Canon D75 Model 1897 and the Model 1919 version of that 75mm gun. It could be carried on 7 mules or towed by 3 mules. The Canon D105 Model 1913 Schneider was a French medium artillery gun used by many European countries. The lighty 75mm gun were of limited use against trenches, so once the Western Front in World War I had settled down to trench warfare, the French army ordered large numbers of the L13S, 105mm guns, which with its larger 15.74 kilogram shell was more effective against fortified positions and had a range of 12,000 metres. The Canon Corps D105M Mountain Model 1919 Schneider, or alternatively 105mm Model 19, was a French mountain gun produced after World War I. A later variant called the Canon Corps D105M Model 1928 Schneider was also produced in 1928. The Canon D105 Corps Model 1934 Schneider was a French howitzer used in World War II. It derived from the 105mm howitzer produced by Schneider for the Imperial Japanese Army. Production was slow, with only 144 units built from 1935 to 1938. A more conservative 105mm howitzer design, the Canon D105 Corps Model 1935B, was produced by the State Arsenal at Bourn and was ordered in large numbers, which resulted in the production of this particular weapon being stopped. At the time of the Battle of French, only 16 Canon D105 Corps Model 1934 Schneiders were in service in the artillery of the 1st and 3rd Armoured and 3rd Motorised Division. The Canon D105 Corps Model 1935B was a French howitzer used in World War II. It was designed by the State Arsenal at Bourges to replace the Canon D105 Corps Model 1934 Schneider. Some 610 units were originally ordered, although production was terminated in 1939 in favour of anti-tank guns. Only some 232 were in service when the Germans attacked in May 1940. The Canon D155C Model 1915 Saint-Chamond was a French howitzer used during World War I and World War II. The Saint-Chamond howitzer was 400 kilograms lighter than the equivalent Schneider howitzer, but its maximum range was only 2,400 metres, it was 2,400 metres shorter than the Schneider weapon. It remained on strength until World War II. 88 were in service with the artillery units of the Maginot Line and saw some action during the German invasion of France in May 1940. The Canon D155C Model 1917 Schneider, often abbreviated as the C-17S, was a French howitzer designed by Schneider. It was essentially the Canon D-155C Model 1915 Schneider, fitted with a different breech to use the bag propellant rather than the cartridges used by the older howitzer. The Aubusrier der 120mm Model 1915 to Rapide, or quick loading, 120mm howitzer Model 1915 was a French howitzer designed and built by the Schneider Company and used by a number of nations during the First World War. The French army equipped 5 batteries with this weapon in 1912, but the French had disposed of all their guns by 1918, with some going to Belgium, which actually were used during the German invasion in May 1940. The French 75mm field gun is a quick-firing field artillery piece adopted in March 1898. The French 75 is widely regarded as the first modern artillery piece. The Canon D75mm Model 1897 was the original 75mm gun introduced in 1897 with wooden wheels. Despite obsolescence brought on by new developments in artillery design, large numbers of 75s were still in use in 1939, 4,500 in the French army alone. The French army still used the older wooden-spoked version. The Canon D75 Model 1897, modified 1938, was a motorized artillery variant of the 75mm M87, with the wooden wheels replaced by metallic wheels with tyres and an altered shield. This variant would have been used in the French motorized divisions. The Canon D105L Model 1936 Schneider was a field gun used by the French in World War II. 159 were in service in 1939. They were used in organic corps-level artillery regiments. It was built in 2 versions, one with steel wheels and pneumatic tyres for tractor towing, and the other with wooden spoke wheels for horse towing. The Canon D155 Grand Poussin Fiox, or GPF, Model 1917, was a heavy artillery gun, highly effective. In 1940, France fielded 450 of these highly effective weapons. In 1939, Captain Tozard, French Army, proposed a new 6-wheel carriage for the GPF-T. This improved the mobility and also reduced the preparation time. The GPF/T was heavier, 13.7 tons, but could be towed up at a speed of 36 kilometres per hour. Around 60 guns were in service in May 1940. The Canon D155L Model 1932 S was a naval version of the GPF. Only 16 guns were available in 1940, 4 guns in 4 batteries. Batteries number 2 and 3 took part in the campaign in France. They were first deployed in Montabaur, France, in August 1939, and then deployed together against the Wehrmacht during the campaign. Only these 2 batteries were given Somua MCG4 vehicles as tractors. 3 vehicles per gun were required for traction, so in total 24 MCG4 tractors were used in these 2 batteries. The Canon DR220L Model 1917 was a French heavy field gun design which served with France during World War I and World War II. After the lack of heavy artillery for infantry support in positional warfare of World War I had become obvious, the design was ordered by Frederick Jourher in 1917. The gun was built around an existing 220mm design, originally intended for naval use. The manufactured pieces were distributed in September-October 1918 to the 151st Fortress Artillery Regiment and the 166th Fortress Artillery Regiment. After the armistice of the 11th of November 1918, the guns were transferred to the 172nd Artillery Regiment. In the mobilisation of 1939, the 48 surviving guns were assigned to the 173rd Artillery Regiment and 174th Artillery Regiment. The Brand Model 1935 is a light mortar used to provide company-level indirect fire, crewed by 3 to 5 men, depending on the number of ammo carriers. The Brand Model 27/31 is a medium mortar designed to provide battalion-level indirect support, crewed by 5 to 7 men, depending on the number of ammo carriers. It had a very good range and was highly effective. The French Infantry Division contained 3 batteries of 12 75mm guns and 2 batteries of 12 105 or 155mm howitzers. The bulk of the 4,575mm guns were deployed with the infantry divisions, numbering about 3,276 of the older spoked variety. According to some sources, some of the infantry division lacked the 105mm howitzer and only contained 2 batteries of 155mm howitzers. However, the French army had more than enough of either weapon to fully equip all the divisions with 1,092 of each howitzer. However, the French C-series infantry division only contained 1 battery of 155mm howitzers and no 105mm howitzers. So I assume this source was referring to those formations and may have got some of the details incorrect. Also, with the infantry divisions, due to a lack of 25mm anti-tank guns, some of the infantry battalions were equipped with the older 75mm infantry guns, the Canon d'Infanterie del 37 Model 1916 TRP. That was the very small infantry support weapon. This may have also been the case in the reconnaissance battalions of some of the infantry divisions. I suspect this would only have been the case in the C-series divisions, or perhaps some B-series infantry divisions, but certainly would not have been common with the A-series and probably most of the B-series infantry divisions. The French light infantry divisions contained 2 batteries of 75mm guns, which were the horse-drawn and older spoked variety of weapon. The French chasseur divisions were also equipped with a single battery of 12 75mm guns, spoke variety towed by horses. The French mountain divisions contained 2 batteries of 12 mountain variety of the 75mm gun, or more accurately, howitzer, the Canon D75M model 1928. This division also contained a single battery of 12 mountain variety 105mm howitzers, the Canon Corps D105M model 1919 Schneider. In the 2nd Artillery Regiment, this division contained 2 batteries of 12 standard 105mm howitzers, the Canon D105 model 1913 Schneider. As with the infantry divisions, some of the 25mm anti-tank guns may have been replaced with the 75mm infantry guns due to a lack of the 25mm anti-tank guns. The motorised infantry division contained 3 batteries of 12 of the upgraded 75mm gun, the Canon D75 model 1897 modified 1938. It also contained a single battery of 12 modernised 105mm howitzers, the Canon D105 model 1913 Schneider, with pneumatic tyres. Finally, there was a single battery of 12 155mm howitzers, also modernised so it could be towed by trucks. The French Mechanised Cavalry Division, or DLC, contained 2 batteries of modernised 75mm guns. These were the variety with pneumatic tyres and the altered shield, and towed by motor vehicles. Possibly the best of the armoured divisions, or mechanised divisions, the DLM, contained 2 batteries of 12 75mm guns, modernised, and a single battery of 105mm howitzers. All these weapons were modernised in order to be towed by trucks. The French armoured divisions, or DCR, which contained the famous Char-B heavy tanks, contained 3 batteries of 105mm howitzers, giving it good artillery capacity for such a small division. All weapons were modernised and towed by motor vehicles. At the French corps level, this contained all of the long-range guns, such as the 105 and 150mm guns. The heavier weapons, such as the 220mm gun, was held at army level, in this case in 2 regiments. While I'm making no attempt to convince anyone that this is an in-depth and historically accurate painting guide, it's a good starting place for anyone wishing to paint up their French infantry. Just do a screen capture of this and take a look at the colours and determine if this is something that makes sense for you if you are creating a French 1939-40 army. And so I come to a close of my episode 5 of my equipment series of videos, in this case French World War II Artillery. Alle guten Dinge, kommen zu einem Ende.